What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka New York Prepper. In this video, I'm going to review a flashlight, and this is a great flashlight for preppers. And this is the Thrunite BSS V4. And in full disclosure, I received this flashlight for free. It was shipped to me by Thrunite to review. And I'm very satisfied with this flashlight. And so if any of you guys have been around flashlights for the last 10 years or so, you'll know that Thrunite is one of the premier flashlight companies out there, and they have a lot of innovative offerings for different users. And this particular flashlight is geared towards preppers and tactical users. And again, this is the Thrunite BSS V4. It retails for only about $60. And for the price point, I think it's a really good flashlight. It has multiple different modes, and it's a multi-purpose flashlight that you can use for different situations. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. I just want to go over some of the basic stats on this flashlight. And again, I did receive this flashlight for free, and I'm doing this review on behalf of Thrunite. And I'm going to give a fair and honest review. I'm not just going to tell you guys that this is the best flashlight ever because they decided to sponsor me and send me this flashlight. I'm going to do a fair and honest review, and I do that for any product that any company sends me. I've had multiple companies sending me different things to review, and I always do it fairly and honestly and objectively, okay? I'm not just going to try to sell you guys a crappy product, and I will not push crappy products on my channel, and this is definitely not a crappy product. And for those of you guys who are not familiar with this flashlight, it's actually the Black Scout Survival flashlight that was designed by Black Scout Survival, and he's one of the larger prepping and survival channels on YouTube. And that's why it's called the BSS V4. So this is the Black Scout Survival version 4 flashlight. And it actually has the Black Scout Survival logo here on the head of the flashlight. Okay, you can see that logo there, the arrowhead with the Indian on it and the two ferns on the sides. That's the Black Scout Survival logo. And this is a close-up of the flashlight. So some of the physical dimensions of this flashlight, it's about 1 inch in diameter. I actually took out my reloading calipers, and I measured about 24.5 millimeters, so it's just 1 millimeter shy of the 1 inch mark. But it does say here in the instructions that it is exactly 1 inch in diameter throughout the body. And that's something that's really important when you're buying a tactical flashlight, is you want to make sure that your flashlight has exactly a 1 inch diameter, or close to 1 inch, or just over 1 inch. Because in case you want to mount your flashlight onto your rifle or your shotgun, having that 1 inch diameter body helps you to easily use 1 inch diameter scope rings or 1 inch diameter flashlight mounting rings, okay? Because that's a very common size for mounting flashlights and also for scopes. So when you're buying a flashlight, you want to make sure you have a 1 inch diameter body, and all of the flashlights that I have 1 inch diameter bodies. Just in case I need to mount them onto a long gun, it's very easy to do so, all right? Versus if you have some kind of odd dimension for the body diameter, all right? So I think that was a really important thing that they included with this flashlight when it was created. And I'm guessing that Black Scout Survival had something to do with that because of his background in the military. So I'm sure he thought about that ahead of time. So hats off to Black Scout Survival. If he was indeed the person who helped to design this light. So far, I'm impressed. The weight on this flashlight is only 3 ounces, so it's only 1/4 pound, roughly. It can use 2 different types of batteries. You could use an 18650 rechargeable battery, or you can use 2 CR123 batteries. The 18650 batteries are recommended. My personal favorite are the larger 18650 batteries that have the built-in micro USB, and all you have to do is just plug in a micro USB into the battery itself, and then you just hook it up to a battery bank or to an AC charger, and you can charge your battery without needing any kind of actual battery charger. Okay, so look for an 18650 battery that has the built-in micro USB port in the battery itself, so you don't have to worry about getting an actual charger. And 18650s can hold a lot of juice. They're much better than CR123s, and if you're going to be using your light continuously and often, 18650s are the way to go, because you could recharge them up to 500 times before you have to replace one. They cost about $20 for one 18650, and again, you can recharge it like 500 times, and it can actually hold more juice than CR123s. CR123s are disposable, and they're also expensive. They're usually about $3 a pop. So if you have 2 CR123s in there, that's about $6 to $8. And after you discharge those CR123s, you're going to have to toss them out and get new ones. So get yourself a few 18650s, get a high quality 18650, get several of them, and keep a spare micro USB cable in your bug out bag or in your hunting pack, or with whatever kit you're going to be using this flashlight with. This is a great flashlight for your bug out bag, for a hunting pack, a backpacking backpack, or even for EDC, for home defense. It's just a good all-around flashlight. And at the end of the video, I'm going to include some beam shots to show you guys exactly how bright this flashlight is and show you all the different modes in the real world. But this flashlight can go up to 2500 lumens, so that's really, really bright. That's the highest mode of this flashlight. It can go up to 2500 lumens, okay? It also has an extremely low mode, low lumen mode, and that's the firefly mode, which is only half of a lumen. And that's good if you're just trying to read a map, or you're trying to minimize your visual signature if you're in an escape and evasion scenario. And I know that Black Scout Survival had input on that, because he's big on stealth and escape and evading and sear and stuff like that. So I'm sure he had input on that, but that's a half a lumen on that one. And when you're on the firefly setting, which is only half a lumen, that will run for 56 days. Okay, so you can have that thing set for half a lumen, and on a full charged 18650 battery, that'll run for 56 days in that setting. Okay, so for survival purposes, that's really good, okay? Because if, let's say, you only have one battery, and it's the battery that's in the flashlight, and let's say it's 70 to 80% juiced up, and you get lost in the wilderness, you can just strictly use the firefly mode most of the time to conserve battery. And then if you hear like a bump in the night, or you need to investigate something or whatever, you can go to the brighter settings. So when you get this flashlight, again, the retail price is only around $60, and I think that's really good. You get a lot of things for the price. You get this nice little box here, okay, through night, guiding you through the night, all right? And then you get your flashlight. You also get this striker bezel here that you can use for self-defense, and I'm going to show you guys that in a minute, but it just threads into the head of the flashlight. You also get this red lens, and this is one thing that I'm also very happy to see. For those of you guys who have been watching me for a few years now, since the beginning, I'm a big fan of red flashlights or red filters for flashlights, because red is very easy on the eyes and it preserves your night vision, and it also has a lower visual signature. So if you're in a situation where you're trying to preserve your night vision and you don't want to be seen, using a red filter on your flashlight or even a red LED flashlight is superior to white light, because white light contrasts a lot more than red light with the darkness. And it's just like if you sit out in an open field at night and you see, let's say, a car driving by with their headlights. You know, you could see those headlights from over a mile away. But, you know, it's a lot harder to see the tail lights of a car because they're red, you know. So if you're trying to be stealthy, that red filter is going to help you to be stealthy. If you're in a bug out situation after SHTF and you're trying to escape and evade from a dangerous area and get to a safer location, using that red filter will help minimize your visual signature. So you're not blasting, you know, the whole surrounding area with bright white light, you know. Let's say you have to check your map, or you have to check your bug out bag. You need to get something from your pack, or you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you need to use a light. If you are using a white light, if somebody's observing your area, they're going to see you turning that white light on, and they're going to be there. They may go over and investigate, you know, who you are. They may try to ambush you and take your supplies, whatever. So that red filter will reduce your visual signature. It'll also preserve your night vision, because red light does not affect the rods and the cones in your eye. So it takes up to 30 minutes for your eyes to fully adjust to the darkness outside. And all it takes to destroy that 30 minutes of adjustment that your eyes spent is just to click on your flashlight once and expose your eyes to that white light. And as soon as you expose your eyes to that white light, it completely resets all that time, okay? And then you have to go back to square one and wait another 30 minutes for your eyes to fully adjust to the darkness, okay? So to maximize your night vision, okay, if you're in an escape and evasion situation, like after SHTF, you're bugging out, or maybe somebody's pursuing you, and it's not necessarily SHTF, but maybe somebody's trying to rape you or kidnap you or, you know, murder you, and you're trying to get away and it's dark outside. You want to maximize your night vision. You know, you don't want to destroy your night vision, and the best way to do that is to keep your eyes away from bright light, okay, and away from white light, okay? And having the red filter on your flashlight will preserve your night vision, and it'll give you an advantage over the bad guys, okay? So you want to maintain that night vision. Again, it takes 30 minutes for your eyes to adjust to the darkness. So as soon as you click on your white light, you destroy that 30 minutes of effort your eyes took to adjust. So you get this red filter that threads onto the flashlight, and it'll filter the light and turn the light into a red color, okay? And then you also get this striker bezel here as well, okay? You also get a pocket clip that you can remove, which I think is really good, especially if you want to mount this onto a weapon. You know, you don't want to have your pocket clip getting in the way, so you can take this pocket clip off. But if you plan to EDC this thing, or you want to attach this to the outside of your bug out bag onto, let's say, a MOLLE strap, you can keep this on there, okay? But if you want to mount it, you can take this thing off. You also get some micro USB cord here, and you can keep this in your bug out bag, and along with a battery bank, you can recharge this flashlight multiple times depending on the size of the battery bank, okay? I have several 10,000 milliamp battery banks, and this flashlight also comes with an 18650 battery. I forgot to mention that. All right, so you get the 18650 battery with this light. It comes with a 3100 milliamp 18650 battery, that's a pretty high capacity 18650 battery. Most 18650 batteries top out. The highest I've ever seen is 3600. There may be some that are approaching 4000. So, but 3100 milliamps is a lot of capacity, and that should serve you very well. And so it comes with one battery, but my recommendation is to get yourself several 18650s and keep them juiced up, and get yourself a battery bank. And let's say you get yourself a 10,000 milliamp battery bank, you can recharge this flashlight 3 times with one of those battery banks, okay? And all you have to do is just keep your cable with you in your pack, in your bug out bag. You also get 2 spare O-rings, and you get a spare clicky switch, and you get a spare rubber cover for the charging port. So the nice thing about this flashlight is that it comes with a charging port that you can use to charge your 18650 batteries. Okay, so here you see this rubber port cover. You get a spare one of these in case this gets damaged over time from a lot of use. You get a spare one. You lift that cover up, and this cover keeps it waterproof, keeps debris out. And you got your micro USB in there, and you stick your micro USB in there, and you can charge your 18650 battery. So this has a built-in charger in it, which is really cool. But again, I recommend the 18650 batteries that already have the micro USB built into them, so this way you can charge it no matter what. You also get this cool wrist lanyard here, which is actually pretty high quality. You also get this pouch here, which is I would say it's for EDC purposes it's good enough. I wouldn't really trust my life to this pouch here. I mean, it's a very basic pouch. I would like to see the pouch upgraded a little bit. Even if they have to sell a separate pouch, for maybe like 20 bucks, that's really solid and really high quality, I'd love to see that. But I think this pouch needs to be upgraded a little bit. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. I wouldn't trust my life to this pouch. So that could use some work, but you get the basic pouch. So if you're going to use this for EDC and you don't need a super rugged pouch, you got that, okay? So I want to go through the modes here. So the LED in this flashlight is an SST70. It has a smooth reflector. The working voltage is 2.7 to 8.4 volts. It's an anodized aluminum, and this is a really tough light. You can see it's very thick aluminum here. It's not cheap at all. Okay, so I just want to show you guys the inside of the light here so you can see how thick the light is. Okay, you can see it's a pretty sturdy flashlight. Now, it's not as sturdy as, let's say, a Streamlight or some other heavy-duty tactical lights, but this light is not designed to be, a super heavy-duty tactical light or a weapon light. This is designed to be a multi-purpose light that you can use for different things. It's not just designed for being mounted onto a weapon or to be used in tactical situations. This is designed for multi-purpose. It's designed with the prepper in mind, the survivalist in mind. So they didn't make it super heavy duty because obviously, the heavier you go, with the aluminum, the heavier the flashlight is, and they wanted to keep this thing light, which I think is really important. And again, good attention to detail. You know, if you have a bug out bag, every little ounce adds up, you know, and before you know it, you start throwing stuff in your bug out bag, and your bug out bag is 30 pounds. So they wanted to keep it light, but it is pretty thick, as you can see. And this is the flashlight that you get, or I'm sorry, this is the battery that you get with the flashlight, okay? 3100 milliamps by Wowtac, okay? And you know, you have these little slots here on the tail cap that you can use to attach a lanyard of your choice, a wrist lanyard. I have the one here that they gave me, but you can get any wrist lanyard. You know, you could even attach some bank line and make an improvised lanyard, okay? You got your tail cap switch here, and you can hear it's very tactile. I'm going to let you guys listen to it. It has it's a very stiff, it's kind of on the stiff side, but I think that's good because it's more durable. I've noticed with flashlights that have a very soft tail cap switch that they wear out quicker because they're very soft, and the switch wears out quicker. But this has like a very stiff kind of you have to push it harder, you know, and I think that's gonna last longer than if it was really soft. And it also prevents accidental activation. You have these little wings that come off so your finger doesn't accidentally press it when you don't want it to, or when you don't want to activate it. It protects the switch from being activated if, let's say, you're putting this in your backpack and it's pressed up against a hard surface. These little wings here will prevent the tail cap switch from being depressed, okay, unintentionally. As you see, I'm pushing on it and it's not clicking. And also the fact that it has that resistance to it, you have to push it in more deliberately, makes it harder for any kind of accidental activation. But very high quality components on this flashlight, okay? And so there's two switches here that you use to activate the light. You have a side switch, and then you have your tail cap switch, okay? And then opposite from the side switch, you have your micro USB port for charging, as I mentioned, okay? So I'm gonna go through all the different modes here. So you get the Firefly mode, as I mentioned, is half a lumen, and that one runs for 56 days. Then you have the low mode, which is 33 lumens, and that one can run for about 55 hours, so about 2 days, about 2.5 days of continuous use, okay, on the low mode, and that's 33 lumens. That's very good for survival purposes if you're trying to conserve your juice. Then you have a medium mode, which is 350 lumens, and that can run for 4.5 hours. Then you have a high mode, which is 1500 lumens, and that can run for 150 minutes, so about 2.5 hours. And then you have your turbo mode, which runs at 2500 lumens, and that can run also for about 147 minutes, okay? So about 2.5 hours on that turbo mode. That's a very long runtime there. You also get a strobe mode, which is 1200 lumens, and that can last for 210 minutes. The throw distance is 250 meters, and based on my testing, that seems about accurate. This type of flashlight is not really designed for long distance throwing because of the way the flashlight head is, the way it's shaped like a cylinder. So it's not going to be able to throw extremely long distances as, let's say, other types of flashlights where you have that bulging flashlight head that comes out. that's, you know, those big flashlight heads help with throwing distance of the light, but this type of flashlight will still give you a good amount of throw. But again, this is a multi-purpose light, and they designed this with different users in mind, you know, and they wanted this light to be compact and easy to use, and you know, having that big flashlight head that sticks out makes this thing harder to store and harder to carry. I mean, this thing is, as you see, it has a very streamlined shape. It's basically just a giant cylinder. You can stick this thing in your pocket. It's really easy to store. It's not huge, okay? And so you that's a trade-off, you know. You get, it's a more compact light, but it doesn't throw as far, okay? So those are the modes that you get. It has an impact resistance of 1.5 meters, so it's been drop tested. It can be dropped 1.5 meters without any negative issues. And many times, guys, I've dropped my flashlights like much more than that, and I never had any problems. But that's like the basic low-level test that they perform at the factory. But typically, the actual impact resistance is much more than that. It's waterproof. It's IPX8 waterproof. So it's waterproof down to 2 meters below water for up to 30 minutes. And you can check the IPX8 rating for more specifics on that. But it is IPX8 waterproof, okay? So I just want to show you guys the features on this light. I want to show you guys how to use it. And then I'm going to attach some beam shots that I took outside so you guys can see what the light looks like in real world conditions with the red filter and with just normal white light. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so first I'm going to show you how to attach the different bezels that come with it. Or I don't know what you would call this. I call it a bezel, but I'm sure it's a different attachment basically. So here we're going to thread on this self-defense bezel here, and as you see, it has these 5 points here that you can use to strike. You know, you can hold this in your hand and you can strike with it, and that'll cause a lot of pain, especially if you hit a pressure point like a bone or some kind of soft tissue like an eyeball, your throat, different areas of the body. Okay, you can use this as a weapon. You could also use this to break glass and as an impact tool to break things, okay? So that's how you attach these different ends on here. And then here I have the red lens. The red lens just threads right on nicely, okay? I'll show you guys what the lens looks like. Okay, so that's what the red lens looks like. All right, so I'm going to go through the modes here, and then at the end, I'm going to show you guys the beam shots. This is how you attach the pocket clip. You just slip it right over, okay, and it snaps, and you can position it whatever direction you want. And so you have 2 switches here. The tail switch, you can go right into turbo. That's basically all you do with the tail switch, okay? The tail switch is for turbo mode. So if you want to access turbo mode, you have to use the tail switch. That's the only way to access turbo mode, okay? So you can momentarily activate by bumping it or tapping it, okay? And it'll go right into turbo, or you can click it in and it'll stay, okay? I think that's a really good feature because in a self-defense scenario, you don't want to have to, you know, think about what mode you're in, or, you know, think about the memory and all that. You just want to push the button and you want it to go right into the brightest setting so you can illuminate your attacker or whatever hostile threat that you're encountering. You want to be able to just use gross motor skills, or I'm sorry, gross motor movements. And this is a gross motor movement. You know, you're just pushing the button down and it's going right into the highest setting possible. You can blind your attacker. This is 2500 lumens, guys. Okay, I'm gonna shine this into the camera here so you guys can see how bright it is, okay? I mean, it is just insanely bright, and it's going to blind your attacker. 2500 lumens to the face is going to blind any person or animal temporarily, and it's going to give you a window of opportunity to counterattack either with physical strikes, punches, kicks, elbows, or using your knife, or using your pistol, or your shotgun, or your rifle. So I really like that feature, especially if you're going to be mounting this onto your rifle or shotgun. So now I'm going to show you guys how to use the side switch here, okay? And in order to get into the Firefly mode, which, like I said, can run for 56 days, all you do is you press and hold the side switch here, and it'll go into the Firefly mode, which is half a lumen, okay? And again, 56 days it'll run, okay, on this setting here. And then if you want to go to some of the other modes, you just click on it, you know, without holding it down. You just press, and it'll memorize the last mode that you were on. And then to cycle through the modes, you can cycle through low, medium, and high. And if you remember, the low mode, which I have it on right now, is 33 lumens. The medium mode is 350 lumens, and the high mode is 1500 lumens. So to cycle through the modes, you just hold it down and it'll cycle through medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. And then once you find the mode that you like, you just let it go and it'll stay there. And then next time when you turn it on with the side switch, it'll memorize the last mode that you were on. So we were just on the high mode. So now it's going to keep going into the high mode unless I cycle to, let's say, the low mode. And then it'll memorize the low mode. And so to access the strobe mode, you have to click the side switch 3 times. Okay, this is the strobe mode. All right, you have to rapidly click the side switch 3 times. All right. And you can also go right into the high mode by double clicking the side switch as well. Rapidly double clicking will go right into the high mode, which is 1500 lumens, okay? But to get to the turbo mode, you have to use the tail cap switch. Now, the only criticism I have is with the strobe mode, I would like to see them incorporate some way to access the strobe through the tail cap switch, because in a life or death situation or self-defense situation, if you want to use that strobe mode to help confuse and disorient an attacker, it's going to require a lot of fine motor movements on your, on your part to be able to go right into strobe. You're going to have to rapidly click 3 times. And if you have an adrenaline dump, you're not going to be able to do that because your fingers are going to lose circulation because the adrenaline moves blood to your organs. So your fingers are going to almost feel like they're cold, and they're going to be sluggish, and it's going to be hard for you to perform this triple click, okay? So I would like to have them, if you guys are listening, Thrunite, if you guys could incorporate the strobe mode through the tail cap switch, maybe have it as like a second mode on the tail cap switch. So if you tap it, let's say, you can go into turbo, and if you tap again, it'll go into strobe. I think that would be much better than having to triple click and get into the strobe mode. So I think that's a big thing that needs to be fixed on this light, and that's really my only gripe about this light here. But other than that, it's a great light. So stay tuned, and I'm going to show you guys some beam shots from outside. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I recommend this flashlight for anybody who's an outdoorsman, a prepper, a patriot, a hunter, anybody who just needs a multi-purpose flashlight. This is excellent. And for the price, you know, 60 bucks, you can't go wrong. And again, this was designed by a former service member, Black Scout Survival. So, you know, you're going to be supporting him as well. And I actually didn't even know that this was a Black Scout Survival flashlight, you know, until I actually got it and I looked at it and I saw the logo. So that's pretty cool. So stay tuned for the beam shots, and thank you guys for watching. And if you guys want to buy this flashlight, I'm going to leave a link down below, and you can buy through that link. So take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere.